I don't know what happens to my recording, Male Energy Part 3. So I'm going to speak the message again now, here in public. I have time. So what? Okay. If you haven't listened to Male Energy Part 1, 2, and 2, please watch them before continuing. I already uploaded Part 4, but this is Part 3. And here I'm explaining to you that male energy is what I call spending energy. Now what do I mean with that? It's energy that needs to be spent. The male, the human being, say the male who is a reflection of God's being, needs to be active. His masculine energy needs to be spent on something. The male is not designed to be inactive. The male is not designed to be static. The male is designed to be proactive. Okay, if you want to envision male energy, okay, then envision that, okay, you see me now clearly, but around me you have this blue layer of fire and kind of thunder, and it's raging all the time. That's male energy. And with a lot of men, instead of blue, it's grayish, because they're so into the negative in their thinking. But male energy, like a raging fire, like a raging electricity or raging thunder, it needs to be spent. That's male energy. Male energy is intense. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how Christ designed it. Because as a male, you reflect God's own being. You are His picture. Forget what I'm saying. And of course, you have the creation of the female also. So she's also important, but now I'm focused on the males. It's about male energy. Okay? And male energy, as I mentioned before, it needs to be spent somewhere. The enemy knows this. So what does he do? He wants all males everywhere, no matter the age, whether it's just a young boy of 4 years old, or a man in his 80s, or a guy in his early 20s. He wants all men everywhere to spend all their male energies onto him. And the only way the enemy can do this is to trick men into thinking that they are nothing, and that they now need to become something to be approved as a man. Because what happens? The moment a man falls for this crap that he is nothing and he needs to become something, he will search his whole life to be compensated so that he will become a man. And that is how the enemy steals male energy, because now he has all these deceptions that teach you how to be a man, how to become a man. The most common deception is chasing skirts. At least that's how I call it. Some call it lady chasing or becoming like a Casanova. And by the way, Giacomo Casanova, he was an Italian warlock of the 18th century. Using sex magic was his thing. He traveled throughout Europe. I'm not sure if he travels outside of Europe, but he traveled throughout Europe, also to this area, chasing females here and there. He used black magic. He got into a lot of scandals in his youth for doing this. He was thrown in jail, I believe, several times. The last time he had to escape jail, and he had enemies who wanted to kill him, so the black magic had a lot of dangerous side effects on him. He sworn against Christ. He was a warlock, remember? He was inaugurated. He died, in not such a good state. And well, at the resurrection, he has faced Christ, and then it's a lake of fire. Bye-bye, Casanova. But this Casanova figure has become an inspiration for many men that think that the manhood is validated by chasing skirts. Well, chasing skirts will work, but hold on a minute. You don't become a man by chasing skirts. Neither does being a man means that you have to chase skirts. So for you to think that achieving this, how do I say, to think that you become a man by chasing skirts means you are in a deception, means that you are agreeing against yourself, means that you operate in doubt. And you can never operate in doubt and get good outcomes. Let me repeat that. You can never operate in doubt and get good outcomes. That's not possible. And about chasing skirts, I'm not saying a male cannot be proactive. A male is proactive. That's how he ought to be. But here's the thing, man. Your male energy is your life source. It's valuable. very valuable. Will you just give it to just anyone out there? Look, I'm not condemning you here. I'm not pointing a finger at you. I'm not looking down on you. I grew up in this world also, and I need to be delivered from things also. One thing I stopped doing, and that is donating my male energy almost for free to people. Especially people of the opposite sex who likely cannot handle it. I stopped doing that. Because I realized, hold on a minute, why am I doing this? I don't need to do this. I don't have anything to prove. Praise the Lord. Anyway, male energy needs to be spent. And that's why there's so much emphasis on men to earn their manhood, to become a man. Because now the situation is this. If you agree with Christ as a male, as you operate in your male energy in a Christ-centered manner, I'm telling you, Satan is frightened of this. Demons are frightened of this. They can't handle this. So they want you to be in the negative. They want you in the compensation state in which you keep seeking validation for your manhood. And it's not only in chasing skirts that a lot of men are trapped. Some are trapped in making a lot of money or in becoming the violent alpha figure. There are many traps out there. I'm not going to discuss all of them. All of those traps are meant to steal away your life source. If your life source was not that valuable, if you were nothing important, the world wouldn't take all this effort and instantly spend all those billions, I would say trillions of euros or dollars or all those money into keeping you in a compensation state. They wouldn't do all that effort all through advertisements if you were nothing important. And that's why I'm telling you, man, you are important, you are valuable. So stop believing the BS of the world. Straight up. And I mentioned before, male energy needs to be spent. And whatever is spent upon, that will grow. Because male energy isn't just something metaphorical, it's a real energy, it's a real force that comes out of you. That's why your thinking is important. Because if your thinking is wrong, the type of emission you'll have is negative, it's heavy. And that is what will happen to a man when he doesn't function properly as a man on the spiritual level. His energy field will become heavy, and the energy emission of him will be negative. And once you have a lot of male frustrated energy, that will go wrong. It will always go wrong. It will never end up well. So, what do you do as a male? Acknowledge where you are. Agree with Christ. He's your head. Before you become the head of your wife or the head of your household or your head anywhere else, acknowledge Christ as the head. Because there's all this faggotry of the paranormal began when this guy, who's now known as Satan, didn't want to acknowledge Christ as the head. He wanted to be the head. It's this rebellion that triggered this whole power of darkness, this whole paranormal thing, and this whole mess that this world's in now. So acknowledge Christ as the head. That implies that you spend your male energy on things that please him. That doesn't mean that you can't go to a party, that you can't have a good time with your friends, that you can't watch a movie, that you can't go to sports. You have your, as a human being, there's nothing wrong with wanting relaxation, you can have all of that, but just realize not all company of people is beneficial for you. A man needs to have someone bigger than him to serve, because we're designed to acknowledge Christ as our head, because he is the man. All men ought to be submitted to the man, Christ, and all their life source ought to be used in service of the man, because only in service of the man who is Christ that their life source will be spent well. When you don't agree with the man as a man, that other guy, that faggot, Satan, he will come. He now has a place. He now can come after you. And you don't really want that, do you? Well, this is a shortened version of Male Energy Part 3. The whole content I repeat it right now in public. Please, men, your energy is valuable. Your life source is valuable. and is spending energy, you need to spend it somewhere. Spend it wisely. That being said, get peace.